Welcome to All Podcast, your ultimate source for all things rugby. I'm Adrian Bawat, alongside me, my co-host Angelo Petersil. It was
Binne.
episode 36. Huh?
36 is binne. Gemakkelijk.
Great guest on our show today, the champion.
It's a person who's been waiting for 6 years. 6 years. Talk about it.
Is our champion?
Former coach.
But we're going to speak about him now. And great weekend of rugby.
What a
I
great
think
week.
it was shocker also. Black Ferns losing to Canada
Yeah.
Friday evening, and then if you look at the finals of the Super League A, Super League B, Super League C, and then also playoff games happening.
100%.
Great rugby, and you can see the Western Cape is strong, and there's a lot of youth and talent that's coming out, and I think we can just be thankful for that. And as people's also talking about different things, the league structure, is it's going to change or not. So that's also something that the Cape Town community is also like a bit on edge, because they don't know
100%.
if they come
What's
or
going to
go.
happen when it's good at this?
Yeah, because apparently they want to do like I think it's 12 teams or something like that, and they want to do a win away like they did in the past. I don't know if it's going to work per se for the Super League A. Personally, I think it's a very physical league, and
100%.
yeah,
Something you don't have the depth.
I don't think you're going to play 20 games in one league. I don't know. Half of the team is not going to be there, but nevertheless, we'll wait on Western Province
See,
to obviously
the outcome.
say what the outcome is. But before we continue, stop, click the subscribe button, like and share our content.
100%.
And then obviously we have a golf day coming up the 19th of October, the All 8 Podcast Golf Day, where we will be start raising funds to start our own feeding schemes in and around the Western Cape, and would like everybody to share in, come and support us.
Enjoy
and
the
if
day.
you want to just volunteer on the day, please pop us a message. We would like your help. And also your competition.
It's a bottom competition. So, aan die gang. 19th of October.
Mhm.
We reschedule. So 19th October, the draw is happening.
Okay.
Stand a chance to win a lot of meat, salad bites, draw awards, Balcom. 2-3 simple things. Follow the pages, all 8 podcasts, put a Balcom, take 3 friends, and share the vibes.
And then obviously we're going to cover South Africa and Argentina's game, as well as the All Blacks against Australia. It's going to be a jam-packed test rugby this weekend. Back. And also, we forgot Griekwas.
Boer. Last minute. Last minute. 30 seconds. Decision making. George White. George White.
Smarty. And I remind you, that was your team that
100%.
And congrats to Gershon Way to getting the call-up, loan call-up,
And Dylan Mark.
and Dylan Moore to the
The Stormers.
We know you guys are gonna do an awesome job, and I think the Stormers need the wheels.
100%. 100%.
And let's talk about our guest. Here we go. He's obviously a former Greek one, former Golan, player. And
Played in France.
played in France, and we obviously gonna chat a bit more about that.
And
And
more about him.
obviously, he came back to South Africa, and then took on the forward coach at Unimo, and then moved on to Villages, where he is a current
And we-
SLA champ.
We must say that.
Uh-huh.
He had a dream
Uh-huh.
of winning the Super League A.
Uh-huh.
And it took him 6 years
Uh-huh.
to win the Super League A. This past Saturday, with the machine,
Uh-huh.
with Villages,
Uh-huh.
lift the cup. None other than Ben Fender.
Welcome, Coach Ben, to the All Out Podcast. I know it took a while for us to get you on the podcast because we're so busy nowadays.
Waited for the moment to win the cup.
But welcome to the All Out Podcast, Coach Ben.
Well, thanks, Louis. I appreciate it. It's been a while. You've asked me for a while now to come through.
100%.
I pulled you next year, rode on my way to the club.
Yes.
Busy prepping for the Gold Cup now. So, yeah, thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate it.
So, Coach Ben, let's get right to it. Who is main thing?
Ach, Paris, I'm a simple guy, family man. Who's got a massive love for rugby, love for the community, love for my players, and wherever I'm involved, I bring everything. But above all, I would like to believe that I'm trying to be a godly man, but I'm a rugby man, 100%.
So, Coach Ben, where did your rugby started?
Yo, Angela, I think my passion for rugby started in 1995 when we watched the World Cup that was in South Africa, and I saw Jonah Lomo playing, strangely enough. And I actually have a scrapbook at home where I cut up all the pictures of the Springboks. So my cover of the scrapbook is Jonah Lomo. And since then, I wanted to play wing. That was my ambition, to be a wing. And everybody always laughed at me and said, "No, you're too big, you'll never play wing." Nowadays, we see even more and more so bigger boys coming through. But I think my passion for rugby, I come from a family. My father is absolutely rugby mad. My brother played, he was in the Cheetah squad. He played for all the army team as well. So I come from a family that's all about sports, and especially rugby. So I think I've always been born with a passion for sport.
Coach, so you played at Poland, you played at Griquas Border as well.
Yeah.
How was it like the transition from South Africa when you moved abroad into France?
Look, I think for me, it wasn't much of a transition. It was a stage in my career where I had so many injuries that as soon as I made the step forward of getting a little bit ahead of my career, maybe going into a Super Rugby squad, and injury. And I came to a stage in my career where it was important for me to look abroad. I had a couple of offers already. When I was at Bordeaux, I had an offer from Brief. When I was at Poland. And it sort of worked out at that stage that I got an offer to go into France again and just get my foot in the door. At that stage, it was all about just getting there and then making a name from there. And I think it works for my benefit, going at that specific time in my life. But the transition, there wasn't too much. With the French, at that stage, were very much a structured approach to rugby. 100%. But strangely enough, in the scenario that I was placed in as a player there, is they gave me a lot of freedom. They gave me the freedom. They don't want me in a ruck. They want me to carry the ball. They didn't want me to counter ruck, except if I could make decisions. I had the ability, or they gave me the freedom of making a decision on the field of what I wanted to do and what I think was best. And I think that suited me more of being placed in a box. But yeah, I think the long and short, there wasn't much of transition. I think the difficult part going to France is for your family, if you're married and so on, because it's difficult for the wives and the kids. Mm-hmm. Adapting there. Luckily, we just got married. We actually rushed my marriage back then. We'd have got married in September. We had to get married then in June, so we actually got married in May, 17th of May 2014, so we could get on the plane the 6th of June. So, but it all worked out beautiful. Buzzing, absolutely buzzing.
So, Coach, how is playing shape your coaching style as a coach?
Angela, I think it shaped me a lot in the sense of being a player, you know what it is, especially a professional rugby player. You know what pressure is, you know what it is to play in specific scenarios. I think the thing that benefited me most was working with some of the best coaches in the world. I know Rafael Ibanez was now the director of rugby for France. He was my coach at Bordeaux. And I could learn a lot from that coaches. In some senses, the good and the bad. Now, not to treat a player, how to treat a player from different coaches. And I think that benefited me. And also the injuries I had over the course of my professional career, it showed me how to have compassion, but also know where to draw the line. And that was important for me in my career, also transitioning to coaching. Not really transitioning, I've been coaching on and off since 2006, fresh out of school. And coaching on and off, living my passion, not only at that for my rugby career, but also in coaching, contributing in that way.
Coach, you spoke about your injuries, and you mentioned a while ago to me about the big injury you got in your shoulder. At what stage or what age was that when you got that big injury?
Paris, I think I was 28. My first major injury was in 2009. I think actually I was at Griquas back then. And we played against EP on the old Boet Erasmus fields. And I think it was actually the last game that was played. I'm talking under correction. And I tore my ACL and it took me 9 months to get back. That's how actually I ended up at Bordeaux. Was after the injury, Coach David Tron sent me to Bordeaux for some game time, just get my confidence back. It was lekker by die see. And I was also, back then, the Kings was in the running of joining the Super Rugby, and I think the coach back then was Eric Solomons, and they contacted me and they asked me, listen, will you stick around? Stick around now, you're on the plans for the future with the Super Rugby, and I decided to stay there. So I've had a couple. So I had about 3 or 4 knee operations. Next week I'm going for another one, about 10 years overdue. So it's life.
So we get all it takes.
Net weer servicing kry. 10 jaar
So good, Ben. You had a dream. When you entered the Super League A set as a coach, you had a dream. And your dream was winning the Super League A as a forward coach. And this past Sunday 11. 6 years late. You won. Describe it for you.
Angela, I've played in a couple of finals in my life, and it's always surreal at the end because it's just like another game just finished. And I think the moment is so big. And I spoke with some of the players afterwards, but we just won it, but it doesn't feel like anything. And I think it was very similar to me. I was standing, I took on, like you guys now, like taking on the water and being with the players in the field. And I took on the tee and water for the boys. And when Andre kicked that kick at the end, as I saw it going over, I just stood up and I threw my hands in the air. And the first guy that ran to me was Thomas Meyer, which is a phenomenal player. And the feeling was overwhelming from 6 years, 2 different clubs. And then at long last, my first year in Villages, having the opportunity to join an incredible team for what they have created over this past 2 years, because they've been through a journey themselves as a team, to join that team and contributing. I think that is what a coach is supposed to do. They're supposed to contribute. It's not about things specific. And I think it's still surreal for me. I'm still riding the wave of it, but I'm very, very happy, obviously.
But I think what will make it more special is the fact that for the past 3 years, you get to a quarterfinal, get to a semi-final, lose.
Yeah.
Now you're in a final.
100%. I think it was 2 semi-finals and 2 quarterfinals. I think we had a couple of opportunities to maybe have done it in the past with Unimol, but I think the timing was right.
Yes.
I think the group of the management group we currently have, the group of players we have, were the right combination. And I think that all just was a winning recipe at the end of the day.
Then Coach Bill, one last question for me. Do you think in Super League A, depth, players depth, is an important key?
Oh, absolutely. I think in any club, I think if it's Super B, Super C, I think your player depth is absolutely of the utmost importance. You guys know, I feel that way, that your second team must almost basically be just as strong as your first team, because that 2 teams need to be pressure on each other.
100%.
Each and every player, you need 6 to 8 quality props. You need 4 or 5 quality hookers. They can put pressure on each other to perform, because the only way upward is put pressure, if you like it or not. And I think your top players have the ability, well, I know that your top players have the ability to deal with that pressure, and that makes them better.
100%.
So player depth, absolutely. You need that in any club scenario, and I've heard the mentions of the, 23, 24 games next year. Going back to the old setup. Look, I try and keep me out of the politics of things, and I like to just concentrate on rugby and what we need to do.
Just do the thing.
Whatever they throw our way, we need to adapt, and that's make you a good coach as well, is to adapt in the scenario.
And coach, I'll ask you 2 questions in one. What is the next step for Ben Venter? And one piece of advice to young players who coaches will be?
Next step for Ben Venter, we've got a massive year next year, 150 coming up at Villages. We would love to replicate what we did this year. It was a massive season at Villages. Yes. And kudos to, and I want to say thank you online to the whole management team, from the guys sitting on top, Anton Koos now, Andy Kutsia, who's most probably been one of the best, if not the best, head coach I've worked with in the past. SPA that's been coaching with me the forwards, Andrew Norman that's coaching the back line, from the medical staff, Coach Docky that's there, every single player. I think for now, where I am currently, I'm concentrating now on the World Cup. I keep on saying, I like to focus on the next job. Whatever happens, happens. But I am with Villages for the foreseeable future. And I would like to improve what we've already done this year. And whatever happens from there. Coaches, young players, I think young players trust the process and enjoy the process. Enjoy every single part of it. Look at it. You'll get the knocks, you will get those. Nothing will ever be perfect in your career. You'll get your setbacks. You will get those things that happens to you that's unfortunate. But it's how you adapt to it yet again. Like I said earlier, the thing between a good player, a rich player, and a top player is the ability to can adapt according to the pressure and the cards that is down. And I think it's the same thing for coaches is enjoy the process of learning. I'm learning every single day. I'm not Rassia Erasmus. I'm not John Nilo. I learn every single day. I learn from the coaches around me. If it is a technical thing, if it is a way of speaking to players or just game management, anything, take in every single little bit that you can from anybody out there, because anybody can speak a little bit of their knowledge and it can be related into you. That is what is important in your playing career, and also being coachable as a player, but also be coachable and adaptable as a coach.
100%. There you have it, Coach Venter, his story. Here we go. Rugby results and fixtures, Ange. We had the Currie Cup final this weekend, and obviously new champions.
Yes,
Griquas. I think it was an exceptional game.
100%.
I think the energy was there from the word go. I mean, when Cameron Ofker scored the first try, I knew that they were in it, and I think that the energy showed throughout the game. You could see they were hungry
100%.
to win the game, but they were always in it. I think the Lions came back.
Yeah.
And they showed like why they're URC team, but I think it was small things, small errors that eventually cost them the game. I mean, a slap on the last crucial penalty, and I mean George Whitehead with the experience that he has,
100%.
he's always going to slot it. I mean, I think he can do it. I think he can do it close eyes. Coach Bena, I think what a lot of these small, I won't say small unions, but I think with regards to like your Suzuki Griquas, your Ailing Pumas, your Sanlam Bola, and I would throw a curve also your EP, because EP is not currently doing as what they did in the past, like how they did in the past. I think those unions should get the opportunity to pursue playing in a URC or even in the Challenge Cup for that matter. I think, and Coach Ben, you can come in here. I think it's crucial that those unions be looked after, because
100%.
all of the players are just moving on,
Yeah.
but they are not growing as a union. And I mean, look at you, Griquas currently.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's been a good year for all clubs. Griquas have been winning the Currie Cup, Bordeaux winning the European Championship, Montauban winning the Predator, moving into the top 14. They got a little bit of a hiding this past weekend against Bordeaux. Also my previous club. And then, yeah, I think I agree with you, Paris. I think the way we look at the structure of the smaller unions and reinvesting into that, but I want to actually take it one step further and say we need to look at our structures with the clubs and how we can structure it around that. And I think Coach Rassi mentioned it somewhere. I saw it on YouTube, where club rugby is the foundation of our sport in South Africa, and how we invest around that. Look, I mean, there's so many players that are late bloomers that didn't get into a university. Some of the players, you guys are all about creating something for the community. There's how many players out there that comes from the community that's extremely talented, but they didn't get opportunity. And I think it might be a good idea on looking how we can nationalize, even almost like a Gold Cup, certain structures around building not only your club rugby or your club rugby strong, and how that will contribute and feed up to your smaller unions, top unions, and see how we can produce more players, especially those late bloomers. I know late bloomer as well was Wayne. I was also a late bloomer. I didn't play Curry Cup or anything like that. And there's so many guys out there. I think if we go down the West Coast, how many quality players will be up there? How many quality players is in East London or the Eastern Cape? You mentioned the Kings. Kings have always been one of our top unions in the past. When Donnie Gerber and those guys played there, we were lucky enough to have them there by the club the other day, and the stories he told and how they trained and the passion they had for it. And I think we need to reinvest and see how we can build it from the foundation up, not just from the top down.
100% agree, and I think Sarah needs to definitely look into it because it is a concern. Because if you look back to, I mean, those days I was still in primary school and I saw like Super League that time. My family club is Bellville. I grew up. I used to watch rugby since I was probably a few months old. So I always saw like players coming through, like your Bola Conradi that played club rugby that went up and went on to become a Springbok, like your Quentin Davids, Curtly Arts that played with us as well at UWC, and there was a lot of players that played amateur rugby. So they used to have an amateur a week where they had like amateurs and dizers. So you like your Super League A, your Super League B, they picked like an amateur side. And your dizers was like your Super League C, your Super League D, and your Division 1, some of the Division 1 teams.
Boris, I think it comes down to funding, and funding in South Africa. I've been at a couple of conferences, etc., where even the top management has spoken, and funding in South Africa is a massive problem. And that's why, especially when it comes to sport, I mean, how many people are losing their jobs now? How many people have got the struggles? Look, we've got the highest jobless rate in the world. So how can we expect people to invest money if they need to look after their people? And I think we need to find a way of how we can structure that there's more funds put into your smaller units, put into your clubs to enhance the facilities, to get the coaches that are necessary. There's a lot of good coaches out there that's just given up. Or there's players that's just, it's been too many hiccups, or are never getting an opportunity where that little bit of investment from a company can have a massive role in that player and building it forward.
But that's why the community, I agree with you, coach, and I think what a lot of the clubs are now doing is instead of taking the gate money themselves, you buy sport tickets so that there's track of money, because I mean that is ultimate means. I mean,
I mean, Paris, in 2014, I coached Westbank.
Yeah.
It was the last year, it was a club champ. So I was there from the beginning of the year until I left and went to France. And Westbank then went on to end, I think, 3rd or 4th in the old club championship. And it was the final year of the club championship. Yeah. And that was an amazing experience, even though some of the supporters and coaches phoned me while I was in France and they said they did it, they won the league in the Boland, and then we got it with the club champs. And some of the players, or maybe if they're lucky, have a solid meal at that.
Yeah.
Not only there, I'm talking all about the community.
Yeah.
And you're starting with a funding scheme now for the youth, which is absolutely fantastic. And I want to ask the people out there to get involved with it, to try and invest into something like that, because we need the community, the youth are the future. And I know it's cliche, but at the end of the day, it's the truth, and that's why it's cliche.
100%. And then, Ange, we're going to go to the Women's World Cup. The Black Ferns getting a thumping against Canada on Friday evening. I think it was a shock to them. And I think when Canada was ahead, like, what it was, 27 or something? 27 or something of the sort. I think they found some energy, and that's when they came back. But it was
I think Canada took every opportunity. In New Zealand, the right time area, they finished.
Yeah.
Nothing much, nothing less, finished.
And then England beating France 35 points to 17. I think it was expected. England being the host nation and obviously being one of the first women's rugby teams to make rugby professional. So it was expected of them to show up in their backyard and perform the way. And then we go into the Super League A, Super League B, and Super League C. Let's start from the bottom. And Super League A, Young People's beat All Saints in the final.
Big scores for a final.
50 points to 37, being crowned the champion. So well done to Young People's. Hou die perel hoog. And then Violets qualified to play the promotion game. So Strongs to Violets, they beat the Gardens 35 points to 20. In the final of the Super League B, Primrose beating Fransu convincingly 46 points to 24. And that's your neighbours, coach, Primrose.
No, I'm very happy for them. Look, almost every single cup in the SLA is currently, or the Super League is currently in Claremont, and we want to keep it there. Now we just need to bring the national one to Claremont as well.
Yes, it seems like there's a big derby next year. Big derby.
Look, we've worked closely with Coach Ricky, especially Coach Andy, our head coach, and Coach Ricky this past year or so. Stranger enough, we had a pre-season fixture, our first game of the season. And after the game, Coach Ricky came to me and he said, thank you to me and the other coaches there. I just won the Super League B. I thought, okay. And he went out and he did it. But they trained with us now 2 weeks ago. We had a training session together. Guys are buying in, great group of players. Coach Ricky is a great coach and he's invested, and that's what you need. You need a coach that is invested.
100%.
Well done to Coach Ricky and Primrose and Coach Toby as well. Those tournaments clear. And then Kravenstein beating the lot to qualify to play against Helderberg, the promotion game.
100%.
Well done to them. And then obviously the SLA champs.
The big one.
Villages beating Hemis 30 points to 14. And I must remember this. This is the oldest clubs in South Africa. The oldest 2 clubs in South Africa. And like you mentioned, you guys are obviously going to be 150 next year. And it's obviously a big milestone.
Take us through this game.
Well, firstly, Angela, I think not only is it the 2 oldest clubs in South Africa, it's also the oldest derby in the Southern Hemisphere.
100%.
It's actually massive, the amount of history that's involved in these 2 clubs. I mean, next to Marty's, Villages has delivered the most Springboks in history of any club. So open clubs, I'm not talking about universities, Villages has produced the most Springboks of all time. They also have the second most President's Cup or Grand Challenge Cups of any team. Yes, it's been 25 years for us, but it's been a journey. I think we need to start at the beginning and, like you've asked now, take us through the game. Look, there was some nervous moments. We knew Hamilton's going to be in. It doesn't matter what happened on Derby Day or what happened in the league game. A final is a final, and anybody can take it.
100%.
It's who wants it the most, who's going to make the least mistakes, who wants to be able to play, and who's going to earn that right to play. And Hammy's brought it. That first 40 minutes where they played with the wind, they got some dominance in the scrums in the beginning. We expected that it might happen in the first couple of scrums, but slowly but surely, as soon as our boys started playing, like, we know they can play. And it's not that they didn't play, they flip and played. But as soon as we started playing or had ball in hand, we got over that advantage line the whole time. And kudos to Rob and Hein and them for the year, the past 2 years, winning it last year, being in a final again on the 150th year. I think their preparation was great, and they had a plan, and that's what it's all about. And I think the momentum just shifted in that second half. As soon as that, our forwards also started getting more dominance in the scrums. It was always a battle with the wind, even though the wind wasn't so strong in this past weekend. The wind always blows at City.
Yeah.
It wasn't that strong as it was in the semi-final against SK, but it still had an influence on the lineouts, and I think both teams did well there. I've got the stats, I can't remember the exact stats now. But as soon as we started getting more momentum, we used the wind pretty well. Hamilton's used it perfectly. Had a massive 50-22 early in the game where it was actually a cross kick. It was to land and not to land, and it carried all the way about 10-15 meters out. Luckily, we got the turnover there, and the momentum swung again. We broke a couple of the defensive line, and we got on the front foot again. But I think as the game built and the boys got into it, that is what the final is all about. And the boys delivered. I think our prep was good. We tried to take as much as possible of the pressure of the players in the week's preparation. That comes down to Coach Andy again, and the rest of the management team and the rest of the coaches. I think as a group, we ran it correctly. And myself and Coach Andy spoke throughout the week, and we said it's either a right or a wrong decision. What we do, we can only tell if it's going to be the right decision at 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. So let's back that gut feeling and let's go. And I think that is what was important.
Well done, Coach. And if you guys are not doing anything Saturday, there will be a Gold Cup match at Villages Brookside in Claremont. Please go out support Western Cape. Please go out support. They do, or they will appreciate your support. And then Emmys is the other team of the SLA that will be taking on, I think, East London.
Islam, police in Islam.
In East London. So let's back the boys of the SLA and let's get behind them and we'll pop the Gold Cup fixtures up for you guys so you guys can have a look a bit of who is playing as who and do your prediction. And let's go to international rugby. We have it's a tough championship for everybody. I think all teams lost twice, surprisingly, and it's yeah, and I think it's gonna go down to the wire. New Zealand playing against Australia early morning. I will go New Zealand, but I think they need to sort out set piece and they need to sort out that high balls. Rassie exposed New Zealand to that, and obviously a New Zealand side on the back foot, not getting front foot from scrums, and also I mean the lineouts from the first week against South Africa compared to the second week, different ball game. So I'm going with New Zealand.
New Zealand.
And then Ange, the Springboks are playing Argentina. Argentina, different animal this year.
100%. I don't know what to expect as well, but I'm backing my boys. So I'm backing my boys. I'm backing the system. So what we gonna dish? What we gonna dish? So I back my boys. Argentina, I'm unexpected. We're gonna come for it.
I'm gonna go for the underdog because the underdog proved me wrong this weekend. So I'm going for Argentina. I don't know how the bets the lucky bets the lucky ones. But I'm backing Argentina.
No DNA.
And I think overall there's not much to if you look at South Africa's team. Me personally, I wouldn't have changed the team that they went on, but I think they're probably gonna go with Damien Willemse at the back and leave Kayden Moody on the outside center with Damien Dialendi. And then they will probably play Mani on 10 and Raina on 9.
I won't play Mani now because his confidence is very high. Understand?
Yeah, and because of the injuries with Fassi and those guys, and then Jasper Visser on 8, I would think Jasper Visser, Peter Stefan 7, Kulisi on 6, and then I think Rowan Okia did exceptionally well. But I will definitely start Evan Etzebeth alongside him, and then bring Ergie's name on from the bench, and I'm not too sure yet, but I think Venter might start on might start because apparently there's some doubt with the Hawks.
Look, I think at this stage I'm not going to predict anything from the Springboks because Coach Rassie's got a good plan. We were 2 years out from the next World Cup. We only have that many tests a year to test combinations, give guys exposure, and we as a public might not also always agree with it. I mean, how many of the public out there wrote the Springboks off in the previous game and set up a new record for the most points against New Zealand in New Zealand? So I think, again, like I said earlier, is trust the process. They've got a plan. They want to bleed, and they want to bleed a new system, new attacking coach, which we saw work. And we just need to give the boys time with the limited time that they have to adapt to that system. So whichever team pitches up will bring their best. I don't think there's any player. As ek jou nou in 'n grondreise, dan gaan jy jol.
Ek jol.
Op die saak. Wat is op baie is jy van jol. Ek koop 'n plan. And I think that is the great environment that the Springbok coaches has developed, was that everybody is buying into that belief and into that system and in the process, and that is what's given us 2 World Cups in a row.
100%. And then the Women's World Cup finals, yeah, the third and fourth place, Black Ferns playing against France. I'll go with Black Ferns.
France.
And then England versus Canada. I want to go with Canada, but I think England will win in the backyard.
Canada.
There you go. And then Angela, we'd like to thank our sponsors Evaluators is a
100%.
custom design and Pitsa Biltong for being behind the boys and
100%.
always motivating us to continue. And guys, if you need any water, custom-made water bottles, if you need any biltong, if you need any law advice, please contact them. They
100%.
will definitely sort you out. Gevaar. Huh?
Makkelijk. Talk about it.
And then Coach Ben, we would like to thank you for coming out of your busy schedule. You obviously have to get back to the club now. To go, Coach. So thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule, and we wish you and Villages all of the best in the Gold Cup, and hope you bring the Gold Cup back to the Western Cape.
Coach, you do it for us.
Because Naka won it twice in a row now, and we now got for.
Need to show the street the southern side of the
100%.
Oh, boys, thank you so much for the invite. It's been a while now hanging in the air, but I truly appreciate it. Thank you for the support, always checking with a message, etc. through the whole year and just saying well done, even though we were in two different clubs now. But and also thank you for what you do for the community. I think a podcast like this is important. We've got all of those other big ones out there, but everything starts small, and I want to congratulate you with that, and I want to wish you all the best going forward with it. And keep on making a difference in the community's life, because at the end of the day, that's the only legacy that you leave behind is the difference you make in other people's lives. So, thank you, guys.
Then, guys, there's 3 things. What is 3? It's like,
Share.
Subscribe.
Here we go.